50 years had passed since the Council's betrayal. Earth now stood at the center of the largest civilization in known space. What began as the Concordat had evolved into something greater, the Terran Empire, spanning 3 spiral arms of the galaxy. Grand Admiral Heather Thompson stood on the bridge of the Imperial flagship Defiance, watching as the massive fleet assembled. She had been born after the betrayal, raised in a time when humans already traveled the stars. Now she commanded the most powerful military force ever created. All battle groups report ready, Admiral. Her second-in-command reported. Heather nodded. Begin the jump sequence. Remember, our primary mission is evacuation and defense. The threat that Sam Harlow had detected decades earlier had finally arrived. The Void Swarm, ancient beings of immense power, had emerged from the darkness between galaxies. They consumed all life in their path, reducing thriving worlds to barren rock. The old Council had known of their existence, had monitored their slow approach. But instead of uniting the galaxy against this common enemy, the Council had kept the knowledge secret, believing they alone should decide how to respond. Now that responsibility fell to humanity and its allies. On Earth, Emperor Franklin Edwards addressed the Imperial Senate. Once a young lieutenant during the asteroid crisis, he had risen through the ranks to become humanity's leader. Unlike the emperors of old Earth history, he ruled with the Senate's consent, governing through wisdom rather than fear. The evacuation of the Orion sector is complete, he announced. Our fleets are moving to establish the defense line at Arcturus. Representatives from over 50 species listened intently. Many remembered when their worlds had opposed Earth. Now they looked to humans for protection. The Void Swarm has consumed 3 star systems, Franklin continued, but they have not yet faced the united strength of our empire. The empire that Earth built was unlike the Council it replaced. Member worlds retained their cultures and independence while contributing to the common defense. Earth provided technology and leadership, but not domination. In deep space, the Imperial fleet engaged the enemy. The Void Swarm ships were unlike anything they had faced before. Organic and mechanical merged into horrifying forms. All ships concentrate fire on the lead vessels, Grand Admiral Thompson ordered as the battle began. Deploy the Aegis platforms. The advanced defense systems, evolved from Ryan Flores' original designs, created a wall of energy that the first wave of swarm ships crashed against. The battle raged for 3 days. Imperial ships fought alongside vessels from former Council worlds. Species that had once been bitter enemies now protected each other without hesitation. When it ended, the swarm had been pushed back, not defeated, but contained. For the first time in their ancient history, the Void beings had met an obstacle they could not simply consume. Kettle, now ancient even by his species' standards, watched the battle reports from a monitoring station. As one of the few surviving members of the original Council leadership, he had lived to see everything change. We feared them too much, he said to his aide, referring to humans. We saw their potential as a threat rather than salvation. On a dozen worlds that would have been destroyed without warning, civilians looked up at their night skies to see the flashes of distant battle. They watched as human ships and their allies fought to protect them from a horror they had never known existed. In the Imperial Palace on Earth, Franklin Edwards studied the star charts showing the swarm's path and the Empire's defense lines. The old Council knew this was coming, he said to his advisors. They tried to keep us weak because they feared our strength. They never understood that true strength comes from unity, not control. Lisa Monroe, serving her final days as Imperial diplomat before retirement, smiled sadly. They thought they were preparing for this threat alone. We proved that the galaxy is stronger together. Outside the palace windows, Earth gleamed with the lights of a civilization that had nearly been destroyed. A world that had stood alone against the darkness, and not only survived but thrived. From a betrayed and isolated planet had risen the greatest power the galaxy had ever known, not through conquest, but through the very resilience and determination that the Council had once feared. 20 years had passed since the betrayal. The Council's civil war had raged for 3 years before ending in a decisive victory for the moderate faction. Now representatives from 32 species gathered on neutral ground, a space station orbiting Earth's moon. They came to sign the charter of the interstellar Concordat, a new alliance built on the ashes of the old council. Chauvel, who had risked everything to support peace, stood beside President Laura Mitchell as the signing ceremony began. "I never imagined I would live to see this day," he said quietly. Laura smiled. From enemies to allies. The galaxy changes quickly. Unlike the old council, where larger species dominated smaller ones, the Concordat gave each member world an equal voice. And while no one said it openly, everyone knew that Earth's technological and military power made it first among equals. General Nancy Warren oversaw the Concordat peacekeeping forces. Once a junior officer during the asteroid crisis, she now commanded the largest multi-species fleet in known space. Her ships maintained stability in regions where hardliner forces still fought to restore the old order. Status report on the Orient sector, she requested during a routine briefing aboard her flagship. The hardliner stronghold on Vex Prime surrendered yesterday, her aide reported. That's the last major resistance in the sector. Nancy nodded with satisfaction. Begin humanitarian aid immediately. Show them the Concordat brings peace, not punishment. This approach, firm but fair, had won over many former enemies. Species that once fought against Earth now served alongside humans in the peacekeeping forces. On Earth, a new institution rose from the hills outside Geneva. The Concordat Academy, founded by scientist-diplomat Eric Collins, brought together the brightest minds from all member worlds. Knowledge should be shared, not hoarded, Eric told the first class of students. That was the Council's greatest mistake. They used knowledge as a weapon, giving just enough to make worlds dependent, but never enough to make them equals. The Academy classrooms and laboratories buzzed with activity as humans worked alongside beings from across the galaxy. Technologies that had taken individual species centuries to develop were now improved upon in mere years through collaboration. Not everyone embraced the new order. Hardliner cells, funded by those who had held power in the old council, launched terrorist attacks against Concordat facilities. They targeted the Academy specifically, seeing it as the symbol of everything they opposed. A bombing at a Concordat outpost killed 12, including 4 humans. Earth could have responded with overwhelming force. Instead, President Mitchell called for justice, not revenge. "We will not become what we fought against," she said in an address broadcast across Concordat space. "We will not use terror as an excuse to restrict freedoms or punish the innocent." This response surprised many former Council worlds, where such attacks would have led to brutal crackdowns. It won Earth even more allies. At a secure facility beneath the Rocky Mountains, Sam Harlow, now in his 60s but still sharp as ever, met with an emergency gathering of Earth's leadership. "Our deep space probes have detected something concerning," he said, displaying images on the main screen. A massive energy signature at the edge of explored space, something the old council knew about but kept hidden from member worlds. The assembled leaders study the images with growing concern. "Is it a weapon?" asked Laura. "Unknown," Sam replied. "But whatever it is, it's moving toward Concordat space, and it's big enough to register from 50 light-years away." Lisa Monroe, her hair now gray after decades of diplomatic service, spoke up. "The Council archives we captured mentioned ancient threats from beyond the galactic rim. Threats they monitored but never shared information about." The room fell silent as the implications sank in. "So the Council was preparing for something larger than internal politics," Laura said finally. "And now that responsibility falls to us." Sam nodded grimly. "We've called representatives from all Concordat worlds. They arrive tomorrow. Earth must lead this response, but we'll need everyone. The threat from beyond the stars would be the first test of the new galactic order, a test that would determine if the Concordat was truly stronger than the council it replaced." The Grand Council chamber on Zeraxia had never been so loud. Representatives from 17 species shouted over each other as the emergency session descended into chaos. "We must unite all our forces against the humans," yelled the Vorax delegate, mandibles clicking with anger, "and leave our worlds defenseless." "The humans can appear anywhere," countered another. At the center of the storm stood Chauvel, an Elleran diplomat known for his moderate views. "We created this situation," he said, his voice somehow carrying over the noise. "We tried to destroy a species that had done nothing to us." "They were a potential threat," Kettle replied. "And now they are an actual threat," Chauvel said. "One that defeats our ships, takes our resources, and turns our allies against us." The Council had ruled the galaxy for 1,000 years. Now it was fracturing over how to handle the human problem. "I propose we open direct negotiations with Earth," Chauvel continued, "before this conflict escalates further." The chamber erupted again. Half the Council supported the peace initiative. The other half demanded war. When no agreement could be reached, something unprecedented happened. The Vorax delegation announced they would take independent action against Earth. 5 other species joined them. The Council, for the first time in its history, was divided. On Earth, President Laura Mitchell studied the intelligence reports with a grim expression. She had taken office just months earlier, the first president elected since the asteroid crisis. "The Council is splitting into war and peace factions," she told her advisors. "This changes our approach." Sam Harlow nodded. "The moderates, led by this Elleran Chauvel, are gaining support, but the hardliners are gathering a massive fleet." Grace Martinez, now head of Earth Intelligence, added, "Our sources confirm they plan to attack our Proxima colony within the month." Laura made her decision. "We will provide secret support to the moderate Council factions and prepare a special welcome for the hardliners." Ryan Flores had been a college student when the aliens first arrived. Now he led Earth's most advanced research team. The project he showed to Admiral Kelly Davis made her eyes widen. "We call it the Aegis system," Ryan explained, showing simulations on a large screen. "Automated defense platforms that can identify and target enemy ships while leaving friendly vessels untouched." "How many do we have?" Kelly asked. "Enough to protect our core worlds. Proxima will be the first deployment." The hardliner fleet arrived at Proxima Centauri 3 weeks later. Over 100 Council ships, the largest fleet assembled in centuries. "No human vessels detected," reported the Vorax commander. "Their colony is defenseless." As the fleet moved toward the human settlement, small objects activated throughout the system. The Aegis platforms, previously dormant, locked onto the Council ships. The first wave of attacks disabled 1/3 of the Council fleet before they realized what was happening. The platforms moved too quickly to target effectively, and their shields absorbed conventional weapons. "Pull back," ordered the commander, but it was too late. Earth ships emerged from hyperspace behind them, cutting off retreat. The battle that followed was brief and decisive. When it ended, humanity had captured the largest Council fleet ever assembled. The news traveled quickly. The moderate faction, led by Chauvel, used this defeat to gain more support. "The humans could have destroyed our fleet entirely," Chauvel told the Council chamber. "Instead, they disabled ships and took prisoners. They show restraint we have not shown them." On worlds throughout Council space, fighting erupted between hardliner and moderate factions. The civil war that Earth had quietly encouraged had begun. President Laura Mitchell addressed the United Nations as reports of the Council's internal conflict arrived. "For 10 years, we prepared for this moment," she said, "not just to survive, but to reshape the galaxy. The Council that tried to destroy us is destroying itself, and from its ashes, we will build something better." Earth ships moved openly now, protecting moderate Council worlds from hardliner attacks. Human diplomats offered mediation and aid. The Council that had stood for 1,000 years collapsed in less than a decade, undermined not by Earth's weapons, but by the division Earth had carefully cultivated. Word of Earth's victory spread quickly through Council space. The news traveled along trade routes and through diplomatic channels. Humans had defeated Council warships and then vanished back into the darkness of space. In the 2 years that followed, Earth moved with purpose. Admiral Kelly Davis, once a naval commander on Earth's oceans, now led humanity's expansion among the stars. She stood on the bridge of the ETS Victory, watching as construction ships built defensive platforms around a newly claimed planet. Progress report. She asked her second-in-command. Colony infrastructure is at 60%, Admiral. The mining operations are already producing raw materials. Kelly nodded with satisfaction. This was the 5th world claimed by Earth in the past year, each one carefully selected for strategic value. This particular planet had large deposits of rare minerals used in Council ship construction. By taking it, Earth gained resources while denying them to the enemy. Any sign of Council response? Kelly asked. Nothing direct. They're avoiding confrontation while they assess our capabilities. The Admiral smiled. Good. That gives us more time. Back on Earth, the Terran Defense Authority had expanded its reach. No longer just a military organization, it now coordinated all of humanity's space efforts. New shipyards in Earth orbit produced vessels at an increasing rate. Daniel Phillips had once been a language professor. Now he led Earth's diplomatic efforts to find allies among the stars. He sat across from a representative of the Xilari, a species that had been denied Council membership for centuries. The Council claims to promote peace, Daniel said, but they maintain that peace through control and fear. The Xilari diplomat, a tall being with silvery skin, tilted her head. And Earth offers something different. We offer partnership based on mutual respect. We don't seek subjects. We seek allies. Similar conversations happened across dozens of worlds. Smaller species that had lived under Council domination for generations began to look toward Earth with interest. On a Council core world, Kettle faced difficult questions from the Leadership Council. How did the humans advance so quickly? Demanded the Gruk representative. Your reports claimed they would need decades to approach our level. Kettle had no satisfying answer. We underestimated their adaptability and determination. And now, they expand unchecked, claiming resources and building alliances with border worlds, said the Eldoran member. This cannot continue. A decision was made. The Council would assemble a proper battle fleet and put an end to human expansion. When news of this decision reached Earth through their intelligence network, Sam Harlow called an emergency meeting. The Council is finally moving against us directly, he told the assembled military and political leaders. We expected this. Now we implement the next phase. Olivia Grant, now head of Earth's Research Division, displayed schematics on the main screen. We've completed the automated defense system. Once deployed, it can protect our colonies even without ships present. Paul Winters added, and our new ship designs are ready. Faster, stronger, and with weapons the Council has never seen before. Earth's response to the Council threat came before the aliens could attack. Admiral Kelly Davis led a fleet of 30 ships into a system containing a major Council shipyard. The Earth vessels appeared suddenly, their improved engines allowing them to bypass early warning systems. All ships target the shipyard facilities only, Kelly ordered. Avoid civilian targets. The Earth fleet struck with precision. Within hours, the shipyard that would have built the Council's battle fleet lay in ruins. The Earth ships disappeared before a response could be organized. Similar strikes happened across Council space. Earth forces appeared, destroyed military targets, and vanished. No civilian casualties, no planets bombarded. Just surgical strikes against the Council's ability to make war. A message accompanied each attack, broadcast on all frequencies. Earth seeks peace through strength. We will defend ourselves and our allies. The age of Council dominance is over. Fear spread through the Council leadership. They had never faced an enemy that could strike anywhere at will. An enemy that had been a pre-space civilization just a decade earlier. We created this threat, Kettle admitted in a closed council session. When we tried to destroy them, we instead forged them into something more dangerous than we could have imagined. The council ships entered the solar system with confidence. 3 cruisers, each carrying enough firepower to level a city. They expected no real resistance. Their mission was simple: locate and destroy any military buildup and remind the humans of their place in the galactic order. What they found instead was darkness. Earth's defense grid remained silent, offering no reaction to their presence. "Curious," said the Vorax commander. "Our intelligence indicated significant activity in this system." They moved closer to Mars, scanning for the reported human bases. That's when the trap closed. 6 Earth ships, previously hidden in the shadow of Mars' larger moon, powered up simultaneously. They were smaller than the alien cruisers, but moved with unexpected speed. Fleet Commander William Barnes watched from the bridge of the ETS Defiance. "All ships engage as planned. Remember your training." The Earth ships accelerated toward the Council vessels, moving faster than the aliens thought possible. Before the Council ships could properly aim their weapons, the human vessels were upon them, weaving through defensive fire. On the Lid Council cruiser, alarms blared. "Impossible speeds," shouted a sensor operator. "They've improved their propulsion beyond projected models." Earth's new weapons fired. Not the crude nuclear missiles the Council expected, but focused energy beams that sliced through alien shielding like it wasn't there. "Their weapons shouldn't be this advanced," the Vorax commander said in disbelief as his ship shuddered from multiple impacts. Barnes spoke calmly into his communicator. "Second wave. Execute." More Earth ships appeared, emerging from hiding places throughout the asteroid belt. The Council vessels found themselves surrounded. "Target their engines and weapons only," Barnes ordered. "We want prisoners and intact technology." The battle lasted 23 minutes. When it ended, all 3 Council ships were disabled, their engines cold and weapons offline. Earth had won its first space battle without losing a single ship. Grace Martinez led the boarding team onto the largest Council vessel. As head of military intelligence, she had studied Council technology and biology for years. Now she would see it firsthand. "Secure the command center and find their data cores," she instructed her team as they moved through the alien corridors. "Remember, we need information more than revenge." The alien crew surrendered with shocked expressions. They couldn't comprehend how humans had advanced so quickly. In their experience, pre-Council species took centuries to develop the technology Earth now possessed. Grace found what she needed in the ship's central computer: access codes, patrol routes, and most importantly, evidence of division within the Council itself. Some Council races had opposed the plan to sabotage Earth. This information would prove valuable. Back on Earth, Director Sam Harlow reviewed the battle footage with government leaders. "This was a scouting force," he explained. "When they don't report back, the Council will send something bigger. But we've proven we can fight them," the President said. Sam nodded. "And now we need to send a message they can't ignore." 2 weeks later, an Earth fleet appeared in the Proxima Centauri system, where a major Council outpost monitored this sector of space. The outpost sent urgent warnings to Council headquarters, transmitting images of the human warships that now surrounded their station. Lisa Monroe's face appeared on their communication screens. She wore a formal uniform with Earth's new military insignia. "Attention Council representatives," she said, her voice steady. "I speak for the united people of Earth. 5 years ago, you attempted to destroy our world. You believed we would perish or remain weakened, dependent on your charity. The Earth ships activated their weapons systems, a clear demonstration of force. That was a miscalculation," Lisa continued. "We are not your subjects or your victims. We are your equals. Remember what happened to your patrol fleet. That was just the beginning of what we can do." The Council station commander stared in disbelief at the human fleet. These weren't the primitive ships they expected. These vessels represented technology that should have taken humans centuries to develop. "Earth has survived your betrayal," Lisa said. And now the galaxy will know it. As the transmission ended, the human fleet vanished into hyperspace, leaving the Council outpost intact, but with a message to carry. Humanity had returned to the stars, and they were no longer alone. 3 months after the asteroid crisis, Earth made its decision. In a unanimous vote, the United Nations formally cut all ties with the Galactic Council. Council representatives were given 48 hours to leave Earth space. Lisa Monroe, once Earth's greatest advocate for alien cooperation, now stood in the Oval Office with the President and military leaders. "We need to assume they'll be back," she said, "and not with friendly intentions." The President nodded grimly. "That's why I'm appointing you and Director Harlow to lead our new defense initiative." Sam Harlow had built his career in intelligence work. Now he would lead the Terran Defense Authority, a new organization with a single purpose: prepare Earth for war. "We have limited time," Sam told his team at their first meeting in an underground facility in Colorado. "The Council has thousands of years of technological advantage. We need to catch up fast." Engineer Olivia Grant raised her hand. "I've been studying the propulsion systems from the Council shuttle we seized. Their approach to faster-than-light travel is different than we imagined." "Different how?" Sam asked. "They don't bend space like we theorized. They slip between dimensions, and I think I can reproduce it." Across the planet, similar breakthroughs emerge. Humanity, faced with extinction, found new focus. Old rivalries between nations faded as resources poured into defense and space technology. Dr. Paul Winters led a team working on shield technology. The Council ships use energy fields that are vulnerable to certain frequencies. He explained to Sam during a progress report. "We've designed shields that operate on completely different principles." Sam studied the blueprints. "How soon until production?" 6 months for the prototype. Maybe 2 years for full implementation." "You have 1 year," Sam replied. While Earth prepared its defenses, scout ships ventured beyond the solar system. They moved carefully, avoiding known Council routes mapped from stolen data. They found a planet, 16 light-years away, rich in resources and hidden behind a dust cloud that made it nearly invisible to standard scans. "This will be our first colony," Sam announced. "If Earth falls, humanity will continue." Construction began in secret. The first colony ships left at night, their new engines leaving no radiation trail for Council sensors to detect. Lisa oversaw the diplomatic angle. "We need allies," she told Sam. "Other species who resent Council control. Can we trust any aliens after what happened?" Sam asked. "We don't have to trust them. We just need mutual interests." Olivia Grant's team made another breakthrough 8 months later. "We've improved the engine design," she told Sam, her eyes bright with excitement despite days without sleep. "Our ships are now faster than anything the Council has." Paul Winters didn't smile as often as Olivia, but today he did. "And my team has completed the adaptive shield system. It learns from attacks and becomes stronger." Sam nodded. "Good. Now we need weapons." The weapons came from an unexpected source. Kate Bennett had been analyzing the asteroid fragments. "These weren't just rock," she explained. "They contained engineered components, Council technology meant to enhance the damage upon impact." John Russell, now a general, studied the analysis. "Can we use this against them?" "Better," Kate said. "We can improve it." 3 years after the betrayal, Earth had changed completely. Massive shipyards orbited in the darkness behind the moon, hidden from casual observation. The first fleet of Earth warships, sleek and black, absorbed light rather than reflected it. In the command center beneath Colorado, Sam looked at status reports from the colony. 5,000 humans now lived on another world. More colonies were being established. "We're not ready for a direct confrontation," Sam told his leadership team. "But we're getting closer every day." Lisa nodded. "The question is, will they give us enough time?" As if in answer to her question, alarms sounded throughout the facility. A technician called out, "Director, We've detected Council ships entering the outer solar system. Sam's face showed no fear, only determination. Initiate Operation Shadowfall. All ships to defensive positions. The time for preparation was over. The test of humanity had begun. 5 years passed since first contact. Earth had changed. New technologies appeared in medicine and agriculture, gifts from the Council. But the promised space travel advances never came. Lisa Monroe stood before the Council chamber on their massive station orbiting Jupiter. Her diplomatic uniform felt tight around her neck as she made Earth's case yet again. "We have met every requirement for full membership," she said. The 7 Council representatives watched her with unblinking eyes. "We've shared our culture, our science, and followed all Council guidelines." Kettle, now promoted to senior diplomat, tilted his blue head. "Earth is still developing. The Council feels more time is needed before full membership." Lisa bit back her frustration. This was the 3rd delay. "May I ask how much more time?" "That is undetermined," said the Vorax representative. Back on Earth, Dr. Kate Bennett had grown from skeptical to suspicious. From her position at the Global Defense Initiative, she reviewed strange data patterns in Earth's deep space monitoring network. "Something's wrong with our asteroid detection systems," she told Commander John Russell in his underground office. John had been assigned as military liaison to the Council, but spent more time being stonewalled than getting answers. Kate showed him the screens. "The system keeps glitching around this sector. It's like there's a blind spot." John frowned. "Could it be a technical issue? I've checked everything twice. This isn't accidental." 3 days later, the emergency alarms sounded worldwide. A massive asteroid, somehow missed by all detection systems, was headed straight for Earth. Impact prediction. 16 days. Global panic spread. The Council representatives expressed shock and promised immediate assistance. Their planet-defending technology could easily divert such threats. "Our fleet will arrive in 12 days," Kettle assured world leaders. "We will handle this crisis." Kate worked frantically, reviewing data. Something didn't add up. "This asteroid was deliberately hidden from our systems," she told John as they examined satellite footage. "And look at this trajectory. It's too perfect. Natural objects don't move like this." John's face darkened. "You're saying someone aimed it at us." "I'm saying we should prepare as if the Council help isn't coming." John mobilized Earth's limited defenses. Every nuclear missile was prepared for launch. Experimental energy weapons were rushed to completion. On day 11, with the asteroid now visible in the night sky, the Council made an announcement. "Regrettably, our defense fleet has encountered technical difficulties," Kettle said, his face showing practiced concern on video screens worldwide. "They will be delayed by approximately 7 days." 7 days. The asteroid would hit in 5. Lisa confronted Kettle privately on the Jupiter station. "You promised help." "Unfortunate timing," he replied coolly. "Perhaps this demonstrates why Earth isn't ready for membership. Advanced species must be self-sufficient." Lisa saw something in his eyes then. Satisfaction. Earth's leaders knew the truth. They were alone. John took command of the global defense effort. "We have one shot at this," he told operators at control centers worldwide. Every nuclear weapon Earth possessed would launch simultaneously, targeted at the incoming rock. Kate worked with scientists around the world to maximize the weapon's effectiveness. "Detonate them in sequence," she instructed. "Create a shockwave pattern." The missiles launched. The world watched. The nuclear explosions looked like new stars being born in the sky. It wasn't enough. The asteroid fragmented but remained on course. In a final desperate move, John activated the experimental orbital energy platforms. They weren't fully tested, but there was no choice. Massive energy beams shot upward from 6 locations around the globe, connecting with the fragments. For 30 seconds, the night turned to day as power grids worldwide nearly collapsed from the drain. When it ended, tracking stations reported success. The largest fragments had been vaporized. Smaller pieces would burn up in the atmosphere. Earth had saved itself. On the Council mothership, Kettle received the news with disbelief. Impossible. Their defenses were not this advanced. The Eldoran representative looked concerned. Perhaps we underestimated them. This changes our calculations, Kettle replied. The containment protocol may need to be accelerated. The stars looked different from the observation deck of the International Space Station. Captain Alan Wright noticed it first. A slight shimmer, like heat rising from hot pavement. Then the shimmer grew, stretching wider until it split open. A ship emerged, unlike anything humans had built. "Are you seeing this?" Alan asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Mission Control buzzed in his ear. "We're tracking an unknown object. Stay calm, Captain." The alien vessel was beautiful, sleek and silver with blue lights pulsing along its hull. It made no aggressive moves, simply hanging in space near the station. After 3 hours of silence, they received a transmission. "People of Earth," came a voice, strangely accented but clearly English. "We represent the Galactic Council. We come in peace and friendship." That was 6 weeks ago. Now, Ambassador Lisa Monroe stood in the United Nations building, facing representatives from 193 nations. She had been selected to lead Earth's diplomatic mission to the aliens. "The visitors call themselves the Galactic Council," Lisa explained. "They represent 17 different species from across our galaxy. They've been watching us for decades, waiting until we reached a certain technological threshold before making contact." In the front row, General Henry Abbott frowned. "And we're just supposed to trust them." Lisa sighed. "They've made no hostile moves. They shared star charts and offered medical knowledge. What they're asking for in return is minimal cultural exchange and scientific cooperation." 3 days later, Lisa led a team of 12 humans aboard the Council ship. Dr. Peter Clark, Earth's leading physicist, whispered to her as they walked through corridors that seemed to glow from within. "This technology is centuries beyond us." Their main contact was Kettle, a tall, slender being with iridescent blue skin. "Your species shows remarkable potential," Kettle said, guiding them through the ship. "The Council believes humans may eventually become one of our most valued members." When they reached the command center, Kettle introduced them to representatives from other Council races. The Voraks were insect-like with compound eyes. The Eldurans resembled tall, elegant humans with elongated features. The Gruk were short, stocky beings with thick gray skin. "We offer humanity protection and guidance," said the Eldoran ambassador. "The galaxy can be dangerous for young species." Back on Earth, many celebrated this new era. Scientists eagerly shared discoveries, hoping for knowledge in return. The Council established an outpost in lunar orbit, and regular exchanges began. Lisa spent hours with Kettle, learning about Council history. "The Council has maintained peace for 12,000 years, Kettle explained. "Before us, the galaxy was divided by constant warfare. Only a few humans remained skeptical." Dr. Kate Bennett, working at NASA, noticed inconsistencies in the information provided. "They're telling us just enough to keep us happy," she told Alan during a private meeting. "But they're holding back the important stuff." Alan nodded. "I've noticed the same thing. The technology they're sharing seems carefully selected, nothing that could significantly advance our space travel or defense capabilities." Meanwhile, in a secure chamber aboard the Council mothership, Kettle met with other Council leaders. "The humans are advancing faster than we anticipated," said the Vorax representative, mandibles clicking nervously. "Their adaptability is concerning." Kettle displayed data on a holographic screen. "If they continue at this rate, they could rival Council technology within a century." "Then we maintain the protocol," said the Gruk ambassador. "Limited technology sharing. Keep them dependent on Council protection." The Eldoran smiled thinly. "And if they prove too ambitious, then we implement containment measures," Kettle replied. "As we have with other potentially threatening species." As the aliens discussed humanity's future, Lisa stood on a balcony at the United Nations, looking up at the stars with hope. Earth had new friends, powerful allies who would help guide humanity to a bright future among the stars. Or so she believed.